Hello, everyone. Greetings. My name is William Zhang. I'm from the International Hydrogen Fuel Cell Association. We're based here in Beijing, China. And today we're having this meeting co-organized with the GH2 India organization. We're very happy to be here. I would like to share my warmest welcome on behalf of IFCA. And also, I would like to also especially welcome the GH2 India representatives. And I would like to start with the introduction from the Green Hydrogen GH2 organization from India.
Thanks for saying. My name is Nishant Balashandagam. I'm the CEO and director here at GH2 India. I have three other team members and one of our member companies present as well. Perhaps Abhi?
A very warm good afternoon to everyone. My name is Abhinav Naib. I'm head of strategy programs and planning here at GH2 India. So looking forward to have a fruitful session. And I have my colleague Argadeep present here. Argadeep, if you can introduce us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Argadeep, and I work as a business analyst with GH2 India, and looking forward to a really good session with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks. And we also have
yeah, Nish.
Manish and Gaurav. Manish, if you want to quickly introduce yourself, and Gaurav.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Manish. I'm from a green hydrogen development company called AM Green Greenco. And I'm here to present about our projects and our work. Happy to be here.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am Gaurav Singh, part of this international business development team at Acme Group. So Acme Group is a renewable energy company which big plans for green hydrogen, green ammonia sector. So I will explain in more detail during my session. Thank you and nice to meet you all.
So I guess that would be everybody from the Indian side. Great.
That's all of us.
Great. It was such a pleasure to meet you guys here on this webinar. And also, we have all the representative from the IFCA connected online as well. And also, we do have some of our representative who's our members, institutions, or organizations connected online here. Just due to the time constraint, I would like to just move on to the very first item of our agenda. First of all, as we all know, India have positioned itself as one of the most ambitious player in the global green hydrogen transition. For example, under the Indian National Green Hydrogen Mission, or the NGHM, India has targeted production of 5 million tons of green hydrogen annually by the 2030, backed by the 2.4 billion US dollars in the central government's funding and over 60 billion US dollars from the subnational governments in the form of capital and power subsidies and transmission waivers. So as for this webinar, co-organized by both IFCA and GH2 India side, is the very first in a series aimed at promoting the high-quality development of the international hydrogen and fuel cell industry through the enhanced exchange on technology, industry trends, the market opportunities, standardization working. So this session focuses on India's policy. This very session today will be focused on the Indian policy architecture and the flagship projects development. So giving the IFCA's members a comprehensive and practical view of the Indian hydrogen landscape and partnership opportunities in present. So I would like to start the very first presentation from the GH2 India, which is the Indian Green Hydrogen Policy Landscape, NGHM overviews, site schemes, and certification framework and project pipelines.
Thanks very much, Zhang, and know very well, and a warm hello to everybody else present as well. As Zhang mentioned, this is the first of several other events and activities we're planning together, the two associations. So as part of our, part of this webinar, we'd like to give a brief on what's been happening here in India, basically, and let you know what the developments were like and what kind of projects and policies have been built by the government. So I'll begin this presentation. I hope you can hear me and also see my screen.
Yes, and just to notice that whoever joined the meeting just now, I have also turned on the real-time transcripts or the captions uh, for all participants in this webinar. So if you find it hard to hearing, you can just turn on the capture. It should be real time. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for the interrupt. Please continue.
No problem, Zhang. Thank you once again. And GH2 India, we are a non-profit industry association out of India. We focus most of our work on these three pillars: enabling environment capacity building and market creation. We have quite a lot of the large-scale green hydrogen developers within the network. We work very closely with the national and sub-national governments, helping build capacities and also in their market creation efforts. So India is very interesting as a hydrogen market. It is the third largest producer and consumer, and it's only second to China and the US. And our current demand is just above 6.5 million tons per annum. And as you can see, most of these industries that consume the 6.5 million tons of hydrogen is traditional industries like fertilizers, the refineries, steel, and smaller sectors, the pharmaceuticals, and other, other wider industrial applications. For India, there's three reasons why hydrogen is important for us, and I think energy security is something both of us have in common as regions where we want to reduce imports of fossil fuels. And in India, we've been importing about 120 billion, and nearly 85% of our crude is being imported, and 50% of our natural gas. India's climate goals is another reason, and just like India has been meeting all its commitments to the United Nations framework, and we are in line with our targets and commitments. But India wants to become net zero by 2070, and all of these hard-to-abate sectors need hydrogen. Our currency usually depreciates year on year against the dollar, and all of these dollar outflows can also help reduce our current deficits. So for India, there's economic benefits, there's social benefits, there's climate benefits, and there's also the real reason on energy security. So India has been growing as a renewable energy market, and I think that's one of the foundations on which our hydrogen market is being built here in India. As you can see, currently we are at 266 gigawatts of renewables, opposed to our 500 odd gigawatts of power markets. So India has been scaling its renewables at a very rapid pace over the last several years, and we do have some of the lowest tariffs in the world. As you can see that most of our renewable energy sources are concentrated in solar and between wind and large hydro. Our non-fossil fuel capacity is reducing, but it does contribute quite a significant portion today. So why can India produce green hydrogen at scale? And we give you four reasons here. Number one is, the amount of landmass in the country that has good solar radiation, and that alone is close to a terawatt of potential left. And what we also have is nearly 450 gigawatts of offshore wind around the country. So there's a lot of potential for growing the renewables. India has a lot of industrial clusters, and like I mentioned earlier, we are quite a consumer of hydrogen, and we have these industrial spread across the country, the fertilizers, the refineries, and the petrochemicals. Our port infrastructure is, quite essential and also strategic for India as an economy. And as you can see, most of these major ports around the country, some of them are equipped to handle methanol, ammonia. So there is a certain degree of readiness of the work has to be done. This gives more options for diversifying production, making use of best economic policies on the subnational level, etc. In terms of our policies, like I mentioned earlier, India's net zero goal is by 2070, but the government had set interim targets leading up to 2030. And they've already achieved a few of them, which is non-fossil fuel energy capacity, the renewable energy targets, emission reductions on its way, and also to reduce economic decarbonization by 45% compared to 2005. So the core pillar on India's hydrogen policies is the government of India's National Green Hydrogen Mission. And this was approved in 2023 January with about $2.3 billion. And what you see in pictograms is what are the ambitions under this mission, which is to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen, add another 120 gigawatts of renewables for hydrogen production, get over a billion, sorry, that's 8 lakh crores, which is close to, 100 billion plus investments. And so, like I was saying, all of these targets under the National Green Hydrogen Mission to also look at 600,000 jobs in the sector. Now, the Prime Minister has been very clear. The aim is to make India a global hub for production, utilization, and export. And I think that this is the roadmap we've set for ourselves, and we're slowly achieving it. To break down these, this is an overview of the breakdown of the National Green Hydrogen Mission. And as you can see, it was quite diverse in all the funding mechanisms it looked at, from electrolyzer manufacturing to green hydrogen production, demand aggregation in refineries and fertilizer companies, etc. This is subnational policies, and I think for the introduction we had given a older number, but with the state of Gujarat having announced its policies in December, the total subsidies or support coming from subnational governments, it attributes to close to $100 billion today. Now, this is one of the big reasons why some of the discovered prices in India have been way below what analysts estimated previously, because these state level benefits being provided, they actually contribute quite a significant, they make a significant impact on the project. Now, this is a quick snapshot of some of the states and policies, states and their dedicated policies for green hydrogen. Some of them have integrated policies, and some of them have just exhausted all the support they can even before they launched a policy. This is the Indian certification scheme, and India looks at a well to gate approach. We're looking at just 2 kgs of carbon emission per kg of hydrogen, and notably compared to many other countries, India has recognized 2 pathways for green hydrogen. One of the pathways is electrolytic processes, but the other is biogenic processes as well. So India is one of the first countries to recognize the other pathway under its certification model. So today, where we stand, close to $500 million have been allocated towards electrolyzer manufacturing, close to $1.6 billion towards green hydrogen production from the National Green Hydrogen Mission. This is the capacities of green hydrogen production that was incentivized by the government. They're all significantly small numbers, but they do make a small impact on the project. And we'll have some of these winners also speak soon after me. And this is just another quick snapshot of who won all of these capacities. The $500 million of electrolyzer capacity that was incentivized, this is the breakup. As you can see that there are several Indian companies looking to make electrolyzers. A lot of them are coming into the industry for the first time. There's been a lot of technology transfers from Europe and other regions in making all of these ambitions come true. And as you can see, alkaline seems to be the most dominant technology. And there are some emerging technologies in India, the membraneless electrolyzers and also some indigenous PEM electrolyzers are coming up. But this, I think, overall, even globally, this market is evolving very fast. So I don't know how long this pie will stay like this. So one of the other significant developments under the National Green Hydrogen Mission has been these green ammonia auctions, which still today stands to be one of the largest tenders globally. 724,000 tons was tendered out, and the weighted average cost was actually way below 620 to $604 with current exchange rates. And these are the 13 fertilizer companies that have committed to those volumes. And this is a quick snapshot of all the companies that won these bids. And Acme, that wants a significant volume of this, will be presenting later today, soon after mine. So the National Green Hydrogen Mission also looked at refineries, and they had about 40,000 tons of hydrogen tendered out across these 4 projects. And the mission is to tender out up to 200,000 tons of hydrogen as well, just for refinery use before 2030. Now, there have been a lot of agreements signed, MOUs signed, and now what happened this year is we are starting to see binding offtakes being signed. So in the last 3 months in India, we've had 2 major offtakes, one from Reliance to Samsung, in Korea and AM Green to Uniper in Germany. And the AM Green deal was close to 500,000 tons exported to Germany, and the Reliance deal was roughly around 300,000 tons of green ammonia um, delivered to Korea. So in India, we have about 12,000 tons of hydrogen production today, green hydrogen. As you can see, these are only pilots and demonstration projects, and the earliest gigawatt scale project will come online perhaps end of next year or just soon after next year. There have been more than 12,000 tons worth of capacities announced, but there are only close to 2 million tons of production in advanced stages today. So there's still a lot long way to go for some of these ambitions to be realized. This is just a quick snapshot we had created of India's ecosystem. As you can see that there are players across the value chain. A lot of indigenous technologies being built here. A lot of these companies are also exporting their products to Europe and other parts of the world. And a lot of them have partnerships with Chinese companies
And
in this list.
these are
Yes,
all
Zhang, please.
Indian national companies. I mean, it's all
These
Indian
are not
companies.
Indian registered. Okay, some of them are Indian registered, but as you can see, they are all part of global organizations. For example, Nucera, which could be a familiar name for our sector, they have more than 70 people working in India and an Indian entity.
I see.
So some of them are multinationals. Like you can see Hyundai here as well. They're making indigenous fuel cells in India, right? Toyota too.
Oh,
So
okay.
there are a lot of international players here,
I see.
European companies as well. So as you can see, for India, maritime is important, and there is a huge maritime opportunity emerging with policies that are in the horizon. And for India's green hydrogen, producers, it is very important to look at the maritime opportunity. The volumes are significant, and there could be demand, or there could be clarity in demand when it comes to maritime. So what GH2 India has done is we've launched this green ports and shipping network. And that photo is blurred, but I'll go on to the next slide. This network is basically an in-house initiative, but uh, our the reason for setting this up is to bring that maritime opportunity closer to green hydrogen producers. The energy developers were very closely working with the maritime sector previously. So, in order to bridge this gap, bring in as much knowledge and capacity building, loop in financing, bring these opportunities closer to our members, and also supporting the maritime ecosystem with the supply of green fuels. So, in order to establish these objectives, we created this network, which is virtual. We have more than 55 members here, and it focuses on policy alignment, global integration, how do we collaborate, capacity building, and also green infrastructure and market development. So we've undertaken some activities under this already, some webinars, some information sessions. We have a survey that's ongoing and a potential workshop on this at the World Hydrogen Summit in Rotterdam. I think my internet's quite bad, so it's the screen hasn't loaded. But this is perhaps we'll share this presentation after this
Yes, please
webinar.
do.
But we have more than 55 members here across all of these parts of the value chain. So this is free to join as well. If you're interested, or we've also mentioned this to IFCA, and they were happy to for us to showcase this. If you can contribute to the maritime ecosystem, we'd be very happy to have a conversation and welcome you to this group. There's no time commitments, no financial commitments. It's just a networking platform. So thank you very much, and happy to also take any questions if there are any. If not, Kida, you have a good snapshot of that for GPS and networks. So thanks very much. Zhang, over to you or to our next
Yeah,
speaker.
I
Thank you.
take it. Thank you very much, Mr. Blashamugam. I'm probably gonna mess up this pronunciation very bad, but
You
I
did
try my
well.
best.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your. This is such an amazing presentation, and we just feel very happy to see that India is becoming another, major global economies that join the global, major economists who's published or announced the hydrogen related strategies or carbon emission related strategies. So as well know that starting in the 2021 there are only 23, based on the data from the IEA, there are only 23 countries or regions that have published or announced the hydrogen strategies or policy. But by the end of 2025, there are already 65, and we're just very happy to see both China and India are a part of it. And we're both playing very important roles of this, the such an important mission for the development of the green future, and also the health of the human beings. And also, as we all know, the global hydrogen demand is growing very soon, very rapidly. And also the global low emission hydrogen or the green hydrogen is also grow very fast. By the end of 2030, that's also the data from based on the IEA, that there will be nearly 6 million tons of demands from the green hydrogen. And also, pretty similar to India, China has also published. Anyways, in China, similar to India, we have also published the national level of strategy or the policy. We do as well. No, we do have the peak carbon dioxide emission timeline. That will be a clear commitment to reach to the peak of the carbon dioxide emission by the 2030, and also the carbon intensity reduction target have also been published. So cut the carbon dioxide emission per unit of gross domestic products or the GDP by the more than 65% of compared with the 2005 level. Reduce carbon dioxide emission per unit of the GDP by 17%, and that's just freshly announced this month. And also, we this year the very new 5-year plan, the national level plan of China, have been published, and hydrogen is also one of the very important role of it. So we're really looking forward to see in the next 5 years. Let's say we both have goals set in the year of 2030. So we're very ambitious to see what's going to happen of hydrogen or the green hydrogen or the carbon emissions. You name it, in the year of 2030. So yeah, thank you very much for the presentation, and let's move on to the next item. The presentation number 2, the large-scale green hydrogen and ammonia project portfolio, technology approach, and domestic or exports market strategy. Presenting from the ACME Group representative. Welcome.
I will just share my screen. I will quickly take you through what is our company, what it does, what are our major projects, and what is our focus in India as of today. So we Acme Group, so we are a technology company based out of India, and we have a history of innovative disruption. So in 2000, our company was incorporated in 2003, and then we started as a service provider to telecom industry in managing their energy consumption. And there we achieved our first disruption, wherein we optimized the power consumption of the telecom towers, thereby reducing the tariff of telecom industry by almost 70%, bringing it down from 20 cent to 7 cent a minute. That was our starting point. That is how our company suddenly became a $500 million company. From there, we ventured into solar sector. There again, we achieved second disruption in the industry, where we achieved grid parity with thermal generation, and we achieved a subsidy-free tariff of 3 cents for a solar PV project. So that was our second disruption. And third disruption, which we are making now, is in green hydrogen, green ammonia sector. Like in the previous presentation, Nish just showcased that Government of India, through its nodal agency, SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India, they came out with a tender to offtake 724,000 tons of green ammonia, out of which Acme secured 370,000 kilotons contract. And those contracts are for supply of green ammonia over a period of 10 years. And just yesterday, we signed the offtake contracts for this volume. So this has been the history of Acme from its inception till date, in short. And one thing more I would like to highlight, since uh, given the backdrop of this webinar. So in 2008, we deployed around 500 fuel cells in telecom sector. So at that time, we were ahead of time. That business did not grow very far, but we tried we tried getting into this green hydrogen business way before green hydrogen became the magic word. In 2008, we experienced with fuel cells. In 2021, we had set up perhaps the world's first integrated green ammonia plant, green ammonia plant in India, in a state called Rajasthan on the western side of India, with a total production capacity of around 2,000 tons ammonia per year. This is the image of that plant. So it's an integrated facility where we have solar, where we have the process facility. So we have solar, we have 2.5 megawatt of alkaline electrolyzers, we have a ammonia processing facility, and we have a storage facility. So this plant we commissioned way back in 2021, even before the world started talking about green hydrogen and green ammonia. And this plant has been up and running for almost 4 or 5 years now. And this plant has been the basis of our large scale upcoming projects in India and Oman. So this is our portfolio of project. So first project is in Oman. So the phase one of this project, which has a capacity of 100,000 tons per annum, that is under construction, and most likely, if everything goes well in the Middle East, it is scheduled to be commissioned by Q1 of 2027. Phase 2 and phase 3 are the expansion on the same plot of land, and each phase has a capacity of 400,000 tons per annum, taking the total project capacity to 900,000 tons per annum. Then we have a project in India, in the state of Orissa. Here we have the project in two stages. Phase 1, stage 1, that has a capacity of 400,000 tons per annum. And this project is being developed under a joint venture with a Japanese company. And this project is an applicant to the Japanese low carbon hydrogen program, contract for difference under the Clean Hydrogen Society Promotion Act. So our application with the Japanese ministry is under evaluation. And if that application is successful, then this plant will be supplying clean hydrogen or clean ammonia to Japan for 15 years, starting from 2030. Phase two, phase two of this project is earmarked for local consumption under the SECI tender, which I mentioned, wherein we have just signed a contract of 370,000 tons per annum yesterday. And the balance capacity of 430,000 tons is open for other markets such as Japan, Korea, and Europe. Other two projects, one in Tamil Nadu. This project we will take up once we have exhausted the entire capacity of our Orissa project. We had one project in US. That project as of now is currently on hold because of the uncertainty in the regulatory environment in that geography. This is the project configuration of Oman. I will not spend much time on the Oman project, but we have just want to showcase that we have already started construction of this project, and this project is something which is beyond the drawing board, and it is actually there, and it is actually happening in Oman. It is not something which is going to come up in 3 or 5 years down the line. It is going to happen by next year only. So it is more than it is like a dream coming into a reality for the energy transition. This is our project in Orissa, which I was talking about. This is located near to the Gopalpur port in the state. Here we have already acquired the land. We have conducted the feed, and the project is shovel ready, just waiting for the application to get processed by the Japanese ministry so that we can take the FID and start the construction. This project has been RFNBO certified for European market. This project has been KEI certified for Korean market, and the project has also undertaken its product carbon footprint under ISO 14067 and 19870, so that it is suitable for Japanese market and any other market which would like to procure low carbon hydrogen or ammonia from our project, from our facility. These are the 6 offtake contracts which we were talking about. So Our project in Orissa, so the expansion phase of our project in Orissa, so that will be serving this total offtake volume of 370,000 ton, spread across multiple states in India. So yesterday we signed the contract, and this expansion project would be up and running within 36 months to supply uh, low carbon ammonia to the local to the domestic fertilizer industry. And the point I would like to highlight here is the these contracts are rupee denominated contracts, and with respect to today's exchange rate, the cost of ammonia delivered to these facility is like $600 a ton, which is very much at par with the domestic ammonia, the imported ammonia which is being procured by the domestic industry at this point of time. And given the upward trend in terms of rupee value and in terms of ammonia market, especially due to this shocks in oil and gas prices. So within 5 years, we will definitely achieve a break even, or we will be at par with the gray ammonia prices with our green ammonia. And these prices are going to remain the same for next 20-25 years, because in a green ammonia facility, integrated green ammonia facility, we don't have any raw material input. Everything starting from electricity production to water, everything is produced on site. And this project is not subject to any inflationary index whatsoever. So I think that is all from my side, and happy to answer any questions if you may have.
Yes, regarding to the questions, you can feel free to jump in anytime, or I've also turned on the Q&A function on the very top of this meeting room. So if you want, if you're not willing to speak during this webinar, you can also type your question if you have any. And yeah, I'd like to thank you very much for this presentation. This a very practical overview of the large scale project development. This is this integrated approaches you've shared offers a fantastic learning for our stakeholders on the China side, who's looking forward to collaborating in India in the future. So I haven't seen anybody post the Q&A. So maybe you can save all the questions maybe at the very end. Now we're moving forward. I have noticed that the presentation number 3 originally planned on the agenda is not available. Is that correct? Just want to confirm that.
Now there will be presentation from AM Green. Mr. Manish will be presenting from AM Green.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Awesome. I will give it up the stage to whoever is going to present.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible and you can see my screen.
Yeah, clearly.
All right. First of all, thank you to Abhinav GH2 and IFA for having me here. Pleasure to meet all of you online, and I'd just like to take you through our journey as AM Green, what we are doing, and what are our plans, and what's our differentiating factor. I think what AM Green is, it's an integrated green solutions platform, and we work across different decarbonization molecules, including hydrogen, ammonia, SAF, and we are also doing other molecules that we are developing the business for. Um, so currently, AM Green has a capacity of around 10 gigawatts, and it's spread across solar, wind, and hydro projects. And we are building a 5 million ton green ammonia platform. This platform is fully funded by Petronas Group and GIC from Singapore. And we have other verticals which are doing green molecules, including hydrogen, caustic soda, methanol, and we have a separate division for sustainable aviation fuel as well. So it's a fully integrated company that works across decarbonization. Um, I think the main differentiating factor that I like to highlight here is our energy storage solution. So as everyone is aware, renewables being intermittent, you need some form of storage. And our company does electricity storage in the form of pumped hydro storage plants. And it does it at a very large scale and at a very cost efficient manner. So today we are developing 100 gigawatt hours of energy storage, and these are all be connected through the national grid. So essentially, the power can be stored and can be made and stored anywhere in the country and be brought to the ammonia or the hydrogen facility for electrolysis. So these are strategically located assets and very large scale. We have already achieved we are already operating the first asset today in Andhra Pradesh, and as we uh, progress further, we are building four more. So all of these, so this is the asset that we have built today, and all the others that we are building. In terms of our um, in terms of our capability to produce hydrogen, this gives us the most leverage in terms of producing economical hydrogen. Just to give you an overview of how this would be different from, let's say, a typical European project is we'll be doing electricity storage instead of hydrogen storage. So our plants are not oversized, they're optimized. We'll be using a mature technology as such as alkaline. And essentially, what we believe is that can half your cost of hydrogen if you produce it on a round the clock and continuous basis, right? So this is one of the main key points of our architecture is because of the electricity storage. We are and optimized electricity storage in terms of it being anywhere in the country and it being the cheapest source of energy storage. We are able to run our electrolyzers on a base load. This is one of the reasons why we have commitments across our business of more than $20 billion today. So we have capital commitments from Petronas Group, GIC, RDA, and we are in the process of raising finance for our other verticals. The most advanced today is ammonia, and we are looking at an ammonia offtake pipeline of 2 to 3 million tons with some of the big names that we are talking to today. The first of these offtakes we have already signed and announced a few months back is with Uniper of Germany. So we'll be supplying them 500,000 ton of RFNBO certified green ammonia starting in 2028. The other brilliant thing that we are doing is we are leveraging the balance sheets of other big players who have renewable ambitions, and we are helping them develop their ESG goals and commitments, and they are putting up the renewable assets for us. It lets us be a very lean company with a lean balance sheet and gives us the ability to strategically invest in projects that are, let's say, far more difficult to commercialize and have a better and where we can add a better value. In terms of technology, we are doing electrolyzer manufacturing with John Cockerell. So John Cockerell, as you know, has a factory in China as well. The erstwhile Jingli factory, that is the factory that is supplying us for our first ammonia projects. Now, putting all of these things together, the energy storage, the architecture of stable electrolyzer operation and the electrolyzer manufacturing, we're building a multitude of projects across molecules all along the coastline of India. And all these projects along the coastlines that you see marked here, they give us a strategic advantage to be able to serve both the industrial clusters, as Nish showed in his presentation. If you remember that map, most of the industrial clusters are around the port towns, and also the export markets, right? Uh, so, so through this, we are able to supply SAF, methanol, ammonia, green hydrogen, chlorine, all of these molecules. I think I would like to focus on ammonia because that's the most advanced. And in terms of ammonia, we're building our first project in Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. That's the southern part of India on the coast. This project is barely 1 kilometer away from the port, and it's being built in two 500,000 ton trains. We are expecting our operations starting in mid 28. And for this, we already have the land in place, the power in place, the water in place, right? And we have committed volumes. Similarly, our second project will be coming in the southernmost tip of India in the state of Tamil Nadu. That's another 1 million ton projects. And for this, also, we have the land and the power in place. We have acquired land in the state of Gujarat as well. And that will be the third million ton as the market develops. We'll be working towards that. I think the main thing that I want all of you to leave with is AM Green has been investing in the business since the early 2020s, right? So 2020 is when we formulated the plan to enter into the business. And the first thing that we saw and we did was the criticality that new technologies will play in this. So the first thing that we did was we set up a joint venture with John Cochrane, and that is one of the best decisions we did because we had a lot of learning through our joint venture decision and through the engineering that's been going on for the electrolyzer part of our green ammonia plant. Um, Subsequently, we raised the equity commitments, we acquired the lands, and in the first presentation of GH2, you saw there were many people who were awarded production linked incentives by the government. So we were the recipient of one of the highest incentives um, from the government to do both green hydrogen production as well as electrolyzer manufacturing. Subsequently, we um, did our power purchase contracts, and all of this has culminated into recently, mid last year, when we signed the binding agreement, offtake agreement with Uniper for RFNB ammonia, right? Now, today on ground, this is a slightly dated figure. Today, we have 30% progress as of opposed to 20%. So we have 30% progress on the ground. And you can see some of the photos, the electrolyzers being dispatched from the factory, the first set of electrolyzers, the work going on the ground, and the equipment at site, right? And this is the signing, the offtake announcement between both the companies' chairmen, right? So we've been doing a lot of work and we've been investing early into the business, and we put a lot of pieces of the puzzle into place. I think those are all the slides I have to kind of give you an overview. One thing that, as I end, I'd like to mention is more and more as we progress further, we are seeing discussions of delivery to the end customer and the transporting the molecule and giving them the final delivery on site, right? So I think in that sense, I really like to hear from some of you on how some of the fuel cell applications on the last mile can work. And I'm sure GH2 will share my contact details. If any of you would like to reach out with your offerings, you're more than welcome. And thank you for having me once again.
Thank you very much for the presentation. This is such a well-rounded perspective. It's invaluable to hearing from the both international investors and you know emerging Indian developers. It's opened up so many collaborations avenues for the audience from the China side also, and so I believe that concludes our presentation for today. We have covered policy, flagship project, everything, and it's time for what I know will be a live open Q&A session for the next, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes for all of you who is willing to ask questions to our distinguished panelists of the speaker from the GH2, India, AM Green, and the ACME. Now is a good time for you to participate in this webinar. Or if, like I said, if you're not willing to take to speak out, you can also type your question in the Q&A session, Q&A function here on this Microsoft meeting. And now I would just give it up the stage to whoever is going to having a question. Feel free to turn on your camera and your microphone to speak out, please. Mr. Mr. Home, Frank.
Yes.
Yeah.
John. Yeah,
Hey, how you doing,
actually,
man?
yeah, hi,
Yeah.
how are you? Yeah,
Good.
thank you for
Good.
all this nice presentation. In the very beginning, I do have a few questions that related to alkaline water electrolysis system that used to produce green hydrogen. And I think that's one of the most dominant technology that we have in China as well. And the question here is that how does this type of technology is performing in terms of the power utilization rate as well as the capacity factors? As you might know, this technology is not perfectly paired with dynamic renewable power inputs and how that is really performing in the India market. I think this is my critical question. And the second question is how you view what's the Indian market's view on combining two type of electrolyzer together to produce ammonia or methanol, how that is progressing in this market. I think this is the second question I might have, and that's I'm looking forward to this for discussion. Thank you.
I think we have Manish and Gaurav representing the big firms here in India, two majors. So I would like to have the views of both of them. To begin with, Gaurav, if you would like to comment on this, on the electrolyzer technology we are using, which is mostly, alkaline electrolyzer and not PEM or SOEC or any other technology, and plus the fluctuations we have, the kind of problems it creates. So your view on that.
Okay, so when we were conceiving the green ammonia business, and at that time we were hearing a lot like alkaline water electrolyzers are not very suitable for renewable sources of power because of variability and uncertainty. And that's the reason we started with a small 5 ton per day project in Bikaner, Rajasthan with a 2.5 megawatt electrolyzers. With that electrolyzers, we literally tested it with renewable power, with variable power. We literally abused that electrolyzer, and we found that it is workable with the renewable sources of power, and that electrolyzer is directly integrated to the renewable source of energy. So the electrolyzers worked just fine with the variable source of power. The electrolyzer worked just fine with daily start stop operation. Yes, there was some degradation, but nothing that makes it a non-starter. And and the reason we went ahead with alkaline water electrolyzers, so there are two. One, cost competitiveness. Second, the supply chain. So supply chain for alkaline water electrolyzers have already reached gigawatt scale, and that is what is required for the giga scale facilities which we are planning today. Now to your second question about combining two technologies. So like we had set up a facility with alkaline water electrolyzers, maybe in future we will set up a facility, a small facility with other technologies, including PEM or SOEC. We will test them for a couple of years, and if they are found suitable, then maybe we will implement those in our future projects. So we are in real time, we are evaluating all the available options, and whatsoever gives us the least cost of hydrogen and ammonia, that will be selected for our next batch of project. Because today we are trying to sell a product which comes at around 50 to 100% premium over the conventional product. I mean the conventional ammonia. So cost competitiveness is the first thing which the market is looking for at this point of time. So I hope I answered your question. Over to you,
Thank you.
Manish,
That's very
if you
insightful.
would like
Thank
to
you so
anything.
much.
Yeah, I think we at AM Green share very similar views. At the end of the day, the technology has to be both competitive and reliable for it to be used at a large scale commercial project like Indian developers are building today. So that is the answer to your. We do not remain closed in terms of saying one technology is better the other. We are not married to any one technology, but we keep a very close eye on the developments in the technology space, and as in more technologies become mature and reliable, we're more than happy to use a combination or any other technology, right? To answer your question in terms of how does alkaline electrolyzers perform, I think we also did a long test with John Cockerell electrolyzers, and we found that I think being the mature technology that alkaline is, it performs well. Definitely, I think um, some amounts of uh, smoothing of operation needs to happen, and that can be done in a multitude of ways, right? So you can have some amount of battery storage, or some form of electricity storage or hydrogen storage, and you can modulate the operations as in how your technology provider asks you to. So I think alkaline is the most well placed today, and you're right in saying that that's that's what's happening in China as well. I think that's what will happen in most parts of the world for the first few projects, right? But we remain open to the next generation of new electrolyzers, and see how they perform and what their efficiency is.
Thank you.
I think I could see one more hand was raised. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Munir, if you can. Yeah.
I think Sarawat have raised their hands earlier. Sarawat from the Horizon Fuel Cell.
Yeah,
Yes,
Sudhir
hi,
also
very good
raised.
afternoon.
Sudhir, you can go first. Then
Thank you.
I have the question
Thank you,
ready.
Munir. Actually, the most of the things are very much clear because alkaline is low cost, low capex electrolyzer. I don't know whether it will be suitable for the long run for 5 to 10 years because nobody has tested the alkaline. But still, I am happy that the India is growing towards the green energy. Now, coming to this is not the end. Basically, what I understand that there must be a last mile connectivity, as Mr. Manish has told, that after producing the ammonia, definitely there will be a transportation come into the picture. So I don't know how they are going to cater this one. I need to understand that because if they are there producing the green ammonia, green methanol, green gases, or whatever green, but are they are going to choose the green transportation as well, or they are going to adopt the fossil fuel transportation for the same?
Uh, Thanks, Sudhir, for that question. So I think um, the final intent and the aim is to obviously decarbonize transportation as well, right? So eventually, the industry and the customer is moving towards a full green value chain. The way this will play out is, of course, it will be a function of economics and technology readiness and maturity. So I think it'll work out in phases, right? So today we are already seeing a lot of engine manufacturers start developing ammonia engines or dual fuel engines, right? So all that work is going on, and there are actually ships that are becoming ready as soon as 2027 for being able to transport using these green fuels, right? So that's another work that's happening on the maritime side and on the transportation sector side. Even on terms of heavy duty trucking, there are LNG trucks, there are hydrogen trucks, and today even batteries have become competitive. That some people are even thinking of battery-based heavy duty transportation, right? So I think that's being developed, and it'll be a journey, of course. You have to have the fuel ready first, then you have to have the infrastructure, then the technology, then you have to have the infrastructure. So all of these things will fall in place, and the eventual intent is obviously to have the entire green value chain. I hope that answers your question.
Sure, definitely. I'd love to explore more on the ground transportation where we can use at least hydrogen trucks, which we are already manufacturing. We have a mature technology and launching a few trucks in India as well. So definitely, I would like to explore these things closely to understand that, what is the last mile connectivity and how we can reduce the carbon footprints with the low cost as compared to the diesel one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Sudhir.
I think now it's my turn, I guess.
Yes, please, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Abdul Rahman, and I'm from Horizon Fuel Cell Technologies, and I am based in Shanghai, China. So Mr. Sudhir is in India. He's based in India, basically. The question Mr. Sudhir raised, it was a part of my question also, but I can cover another part. He already covered those hydrogen trucks part, but since probably some of the guys in the meeting, they already know we are the one of the first company who is going to have the system for AEM technology, 5 megawatt system, electrolyzer system in China, and it's going to be operational probably around Q2 of this year. It's basically in Tianjin City, which is a steel company. They are going to have our system, 5 megawatt electrolyzer system for AEM. So I'm very much curious, like, since everybody knows, like, PEM is very, very much mature technology because of the material cost and everything. AEM is a new technology. It's going to be, it's going to take some time to make it mature one. But how India and how Indian companies think about this technology, AEM technology, like, do you guys would like to introduce this technology in the Indian market, or would like to have this technology over there? Since we are gonna have the operational system by Q2 of this year, and we will have real-time data with the operation of this system. I think this question maybe can goes to Manish, yeah, because he was talking about the further new latest technology of electrolyzer.
Sure, Abdurrahman, thanks for the question. So I think definitely you're right in saying that the AEM will take some time to mature and scale up, right? I think, and I answer for not just our company, but on, if I may, on the industry's behalf, is a fuel developer would like to minimize his risks on the technology side, right? So, I mean, there is already a market risk that the developer is assuming. Should the market develop or not? At what time? At what scale? Right? Technology is one less headache that we don't want. So I think. But having said that, it's also in our interest to make the cheapest molecule, so that the market risk is taken care of. So I think it's all a bit connected, and it's all what comes first, right? Today, as both of the companies who are here, they're already building projects on the ground. So I think you will not maybe debate our choice of alkaline, because that's has the most return of experience, that's the most mature, that's the most cost effective today. But there will be developers coming down a few years later, and even us, we would want to replace our electrolyzers in whatever 7 to 10 years, somewhere in that time frame, right? So that's the time frame. And even our projects, there are some projects that are in pipeline that will get announced in a few years. So like I said, it's a fraction of what develops the fastest and first, and what's the cost economics and the reliability of that technology. So I think in India we're not uh, averse to any technology. It's about what can be sourced most cost effectively, what can be localized, what can be indigenized. And you mentioned, right, the critical elements of PEM that are hard to kind of localize, right? So all these things go in favor of the other two. So definitely see this coming into play a few years down the line in a big way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of IFCA and also the members institution of IFCA, a very heartfelt thank you to the GH2 India and the all the participants of this comprehensive summary and this webinar. With that, we bring our today's webinar to a close. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all the distinguished speakers from GH2 India, the AM Green, and the ACME group for sharing your expertise, insights, and real-world project experience. A very special thanks to everyone for joining us today, whether you are a technology provider or equipment manufacturer, investors, or off-takers from the China side or anywhere on this planet, or stakeholders from the India green hydrogen sectors. Your presence make this cross-border exchange very meaningful. So as mentioned, this is just the very first in our series this webinar or these collaborations, and we will follow up with all the attendees on the key takeaways, speaker slides if it's available, and also the next step for the GH2 India and the IFCA's hydrogen collaborations, including such as the FCVC 2026 or the IGHA 2026 coming up delegations. If you have any further questions or would like to connect with the organizers or the speakers after these sessions, please feel free to reach out to any representative or us. So we look forward to building on today's dialogue, fostering deeper GH2 India and the IFCA's collaborations in the green hydrogen space, and driving high quality development of the global hydrogen, green ammonia, and fuel cell industry together. Thank you very much again for joining us.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you to Gaurav and Manish for joining and delivering this session. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We're also looking forward to seeing many of you in the next webinar session that coming up.
Yeah, that's
soon.
on 7th, and that will be like from your side to the Indian audience.
Yes, and we will
feel free to
the
connect
detail.
through IFCA to all the audience. Feel free to connect to IFCA, to Manish or Gaurav. We'll connect you to them. And the presentations, many of you have asked to share the presentations. From our side, we'll send and we'll request Manish and Gaurav to share whatever they can, and along with their details, so that if in case you want to reach out directly to them, you can do so. Right. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.